The year is 327 BC. Alexander the Great has just founded the city of Alexandria in Egypt, and he's having a bit of an issue. He needs to pay his soldiers. They've been working hard building a new city in the middle of the Egyptian desert after all. But there's a problem. He's running out of silver and bronze coins. He needs something new, something shiny, something that will inspire awe and respect, the ultimate courtesy. And he knows exactly what to do. He summons the royal goldsmiths and demands they strike gold coins for his army, only these aren't going to be ordinary coins. They'll have his face on them, so they'll be incredibly valuable. He hands them out to his soldiers to keep their spirits high and reward their hard work. They become known as the gold staters of Alexander, some of the first official gold coins ever made. But Alexander isn't the first to think of this. Throughout history, different empires have used different precious metals as money. When the Lydians first started minting coins around 600 BC, they used electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver. As time went on, though, they became more advanced and started to mint pure gold and silver coins. In ancient China, they used a variety of metals at first, but eventually settled on gold and silver as their primary coinage metals. For the Chinese, gold symbolized the sun and was associated with power, wealth and, most importantly, luck. In fact, the word for gold in Chinese, Jin, is also the character for the Western constellation Gemini. So it's no surprise that the Chinese were obsessed with the metal. For the Egyptians, gold was even more important. It symbolized the sun god Ra, who they believed was the creator of all life and the bringer of light into darkness. The Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were actually Ra in human form. So when they wore gold crowns or jewelry, they were literally turning themselves into the sun god. Because of this association with divinity, gold was extremely valuable in ancient Egypt. It was used to make everything from small statues of gods to giant sarcophagi for pharaohs. But the Egyptians weren't the only ones who thought gold was special. The Greeks did, too. They believed that gold was the metal of the gods, and for the same reason, its value was very high. In fact, the Greeks believed that gold was so valuable because it never tarnishes. They thought that this was because gold was a divine metal that had fallen from the sky during the war between the Titans and the Olympians. The Romans agreed, and they took things one step further. They believed that gold was the metal of Mars, the god of war. This is probably because gold was often used to make weapons and armor for the Roman army. Because of its strength and durability, gold was seen as a symbol of military might. But the Romans didn't stop there. They also believed that gold was the metal of wealth and prosperity. This is because gold was often used to make coins. Because of its high value, gold coins were seen as a symbol of wealth. This trend continued throughout the Middle Ages, and it wasn't until the Renaissance that people began to see gold as just a metal. Even then, it remained a symbol of wealth and power. But what about the myth that gold is always valuable? This myth dates back to ancient Greece. The Greeks believed that gold was the metal of the gods, and because of this, it was always valuable. However, this is not always true. There are several examples of times when gold has not been valuable. For example, during the Middle Ages, gold was relatively cheap and easy to obtain. This was because there was a lot of gold in circulation, and because the technology of the time was not able to refine gold very well. As a result, gold items were not very valuable. Another example is the time when the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Americas. They found that the Aztecs and the Inca both used gold as a form of currency. However, the conquistadors quickly realized that there was so much gold in the Americas that it was not very valuable. This is why the Spanish conquistadors were able to take so much gold back to Spain. So, the myth that gold is always valuable is not true. There are times when gold can be very valuable, but there are also times when gold can be relatively worthless. What about the myth that gold is rare? This myth dates back to ancient Rome. The Romans believed that gold was so rare that it had to be imported from other countries. This was because the Roman Empire was so vast that it required a lot of gold to maintain. As a result, the Romans believed that gold was very rare. However, this is not always true. During the Middle Ages, gold was relatively easy to obtain. This was because there were many gold mines in Europe, and because the technology of the time was able to refine gold very well. As a result, gold was not very rare. Another example is the time when the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Americas. They found that the Aztecs and the Inca both had vast quantities of gold. This is why the Spanish conquistadors were able to take so much gold back to Spain. So, the myth that gold is rare is also not true. There are times when gold can be very rare, but there are also times when gold can be relatively common. Despite the myths, gold is a valuable metal. It is strong and durable, and it is relatively rare. These are the reasons why gold is used to make jewelry and coins. But gold isn't the only metal with special properties. Silver is also a precious metal. Like gold, it is strong and durable, and it is relatively rare. But unlike gold, silver is not a good conductor of electricity. This makes silver useful for a variety of purposes, including making mirrors and silverware. Silver has been used as currency for centuries, but it is not as valuable as gold. The value of silver is determined by its weight and purity. The most common silver coins are 925 silver, meaning that they are 90.5% pure silver. Like gold, the value of silver has fluctuated throughout history. During the Middle Ages, silver was relatively cheap and easy to obtain. This was because there was a lot of silver in circulation, and because the technology of the time was not able to refine silver very well. As a result, silver items were not very valuable. Another example is the time when the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the Americas. They found that the Aztecs and the Inca both had vast quantities of silver. This is why the Spanish conquistadors were able to take so much silver back to Spain. So, the myth that silver is always valuable is not true. There are times when silver can be very valuable, but there are also times when silver can be relatively worthless. Despite the myths, silver is a valuable metal. It is strong and durable, and it is relatively rare. These are the reasons why silver is used to make jewelry and coins. But what about platinum? Platinum is a precious metal that is even rarer than gold or silver. It is very strong and durable, and it is highly conductive. This makes platinum useful for a variety of purposes, including making jewelry and catalytic converters. Platinum is not as widely used as gold or silver, but it is still a very valuable metal. The value of platinum is determined by its weight and purity. The most common platinum coins are 95 platinum, meaning that they are 95 pure platinum. As we can see, there are many different precious metals, each with its own unique properties and uses. While some metals may be more valuable or rare than others, they all have something special about them that makes them so valuable. I hope you enjoyed learning about the different precious metals and their uses. Thanks for watching. See you next time. What if I told you that you could get paid to watch videos just like this one? You heard me right. There's a website that pays you for watching videos, playing games, and even shopping online. All you have to do is sign up for a free account and start earning money today. It's completely free to join, and you can start earning money right away. So sign up today and start earning passive income.